this evening, my guest is Roy Bennett, the Treasurer General of the MDC, led by Prime Minister Morgan Tsvangirai. Welcome on the program, Mr. Bennett.
Thank you, Violet. It's a pleasure.
Let's first of all talk about the whole campaigning. How is it going?
I think it's gone very, very well indeed, Violet. I think the people of Zimbabwe are very aware of the need for change, and certainly the MDC have done a really good job of structuring the structures across the country and preparing them for these elections.
And obviously the MDC keeps saying ZANU-PF is going to rig the elections. They've already started with the voters' roll. Where is the evidence? I keep asking people, and our viewers keep asking, where is the evidence?
I think the evidence is very clear. Why will ZEC not release the voters' roll? Why will ZEC not be transparent? Why will the Registrar General's office not put the voters' roll online and be totally transparent about the process? I don't think you have to go any further than that. The fact that the voters' roll is kept secret, that nobody's allowed access to it, will tell you there's something that's been hidden. And I believe what's been hidden on there are ghost voters, which every election are used to stuff ballots and swing the vote in favour of ZANU-PF.
So less than a week before elections, you have no voters' roll. You are talking about all these irregularities. Why is the MDC going along with it?
The MDC is going along with it because of pressure from the people, Violet. The people of Zimbabwe, across the length and breadth, and in my time in the struggle of 13 years, I've never felt more vibrancy and I've felt more excitement amongst the people of Zimbabwe wanting change. And I honestly believe that that excitement has crossed the length and breadth of Zimbabwe into the bureaucrats, into the very people who've been used in the past to create violence, intimidation, and rigging for the elections. It is tough in Zimbabwe at the moment, Violet. Life is tough. The average person is battling to come out and to exist. There are no jobs. The shelves are full of imported goods at exorbitant prices, way above the reach of the average person. And what's basically happened is the process of ZANU-PF's failure has finally played out to the end game, where there's nothing more they have to offer. And
he's asking, are you a Western-sponsored party as the MDC?
Definitely not, Violet. In fact, the West has been absolutely disgraceful and pitiful in their support for democracy in Zimbabwe. The West have had absolutely no input to anything as the Treasurer General of funds that I've raised to be able to go into Zimbabwe. And when I look back at the repressions during the area of the Smith regime, of the apartheid regime, and how Western governments supported white-on-black repression, and how they have totally neglected black-on-black repression, it's absolutely disgusting and unacceptable.
So where are you getting the money from?
We get money from people that believe in democracy, from people within Zimbabwe, from people that know what needs to be done for there to be a better life for the people in Zimbabwe, philanthropists, people that understand and follow through on democracy and people's will.
But a lot of people would say they'll find that hard to believe that you are fundraising from Zimbabwe and that is Zimbabweans who are giving you the money, because so I don't know, how can you answer that question, because
Well,
a lot of people will not believe that.
The reason I am in the problems I'm in, and I honestly believe one of the biggest reasons I've been targeted and persecuted by ZANU-PF, is the fact that we've been able to raise funds to get into the party. It's been pitiful. I can tell you right now, it's not a lot of money, which will tell you absolutely irrevocably that the MDC is a people's-driven party. The funds that have gone in and that we've had to try and run that party with is pitiful. And at times, I've been dealing with the President and the Secretary General. We are in total despair of where the next cent is going to come from. So we have not had loads of money. It's been very, very difficult, and I could never expose or say where that money's come from under the current circumstances, but I'll be very, very proud one day when the murderous regime has gone and people will not be affected about what I say, reveal exactly where the source of the funds was.
Doreen on Facebook says, we want to know if you are the chief sponsor of the party.
Personally?
Yes.
Definitely not. I've got nothing. Everything that I had was taken from me. But I should imagine my credibility, my confidentiality, has helped a lot in being able to raise and get people to commit funds to the MDC. You know, I've always been a very straightforward person, and I've always kept very close to my chest and never exposed anybody who has helped and assisted us. So that goes a long way in those people to remain confident, to keep helping and assisting. And it's people that have deep desire for Zimbabweans to achieve their will. And yeah, so, you know, it's certainly not from me personally. I have nothing left. Everything has been taken from me. If you look at me in the MDC and you look at who has prospered in the MDC, or who has gone forward in the MDC, or who has a better life in the MDC, look at what I had, Violet, and look at what I've sacrificed on behalf of a belief and a value that comes from Chinonzi Chisungo Nevanwe Kuchimani. I certainly, my lifestyle and my day-to-day living has gone backwards compared to where I was before I started and got myself involved in the MDC.
We'll come back to that issue of what you had, because several people sent in questions asking about that. But Patrick T says, why did you beat up Justice Minister Patrick Chinamasa in Parliament?
Everybody gets to a tipping point. And in fact, I think Patrick T should understand right now that most Zimbabweans are at a tipping point. Everybody get pushed to the limits. And on the very day that I pushed Patrick Chinamasa, the chief reason for pushing him was actually Lopani constituency in the MDC, where our MP had been stabbed, and the very people that were sponsoring and behind the violence were sitting gloating in the benches of ZANU-PF. And it happened to be the late Shoko, who was the MP for Budiriro, was sitting talking to me, and we were discussing it, and it was on the backdrop of that I raised and put Patrick Chinamasa. And if you can recall what I said, you know, after he'd told me I was the progeny of thieves and murderers, I said, "Wakundijairira, imi majaira kutuma vanhu kuita zvinhu zvenyu. Sumuka uite wega. Sumuka uite wega, tiri varume, ngatisangane." That was all about. I'm not proud of it, Violet, and I've served my time for it. I've done my penance. It happened. And these things happen when people are pushed to the limit. You cannot continually treat someone like dirt, insult them, kick them. Even the most mangy dog will turn around and bite you. And that was what caused me to get up and push Patrick Chinamasa.
And Webster asked, do you still respect Minister Chinamasa?
I don't respect anybody that has abused the people. I don't respect anybody that lives with hate and vitriol. I feel sorry for them. I feel desperately sorry for them. To see a person like Patrick Chinamasa, whenever you see him speak, whenever you see him, all you see coming out of him is hate. You don't ever see a smile on his face. You don't ever see a gentle side. You don't ever see compassion for the people of Zimbabwe as a justice minister. The biggest, and I can say to you now, absolutely clearly, the biggest unforgivable issue that I would take Patrick Chinamasa to task with is the state of the prisons in Zimbabwe and what I witnessed in those prisons and the severe human rights the people of Zimbabwe who are imprisoned are subjected to. It is absolutely unacceptable and unforgivable. It in itself is a human right. He is responsible for the deaths of many, many Zimbabweans through the conditions in the prison services.
And just the last question in this segment, Newsnet Ezako says, is it true that the MDCT's #1 policy is to reverse the land question?
Absolutely not. It's been very, very clear as far as the land question is concerned. There has to be justice and equality in the land commission, but the MDC has been very clear there will be no reversal of the land issue, but there will be a land audit to see who owns what, and there will be a land commission around the justice of what has happened. But certainly it will never be a reversal.
You said you've lost all your fortune, all your properties. So in a new MDC government, would you want them to give you your farm back, for example?
What happened to me was government sponsored. The people that moved onto my farm and took over my property was ARDA, the Agricultural Research and Development Authority. Those matters are before the courts. And whatever outcome the courts decide is the route I'll go along. I honestly believe I was unfairly treated. I believe I was unjustly treated. I mean, you know, there's not very many people who have moved out of their homes with the clothes they're wearing and a suitcase of clothes who I happened to be on holiday in Mozambique at the time and have never been back to their homes. I mean, everything I owned, every single thing I owned was taken from me. can you justify this in a land reform? Is that about land? When you take a person's underpants, and I used to go on record and have humor saying that Major Masabeo, who spearheaded the campaigns, was wearing my underpants. I mean, that's how ridiculous it was. Everything my wife, myself, my children owns, down to their guinea pigs, their rabbits, everything was taken from us. Is that land reform? I very much doubt it.
I'm afraid we have to end here, Mr. Bennett, but thank you very much. That was MDC-T Treasurer General Roy Bennett on the program First Talk with Violet Gonda.
Thank you, Violet.
Thank you.